Bhakti Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashkatya Deshatarine Shivopad Ki Jai.
Yeah, thanks.
What's your name?
Simon.
Simon. Jai Simon. Maybe I should take away all these.
No, it's fine if you're comfortable.
Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shrimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. 10th Canto, chapter 12, verse 12. Huh? No, I can take it away. I can take it. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama. Yat padapam sulbau janma kritshato.
10, 12, what?
Huh? 10, 12, 12. Okay, you got it? Yat padapam sulbau janma kritshato.
Yatpadapam subahujama krichato.
Yatpadapam sulbahujanma kritshato.
Yatpadapam subahujama krichato.
Dritatmabir yogibirapyarabhya. Dritatmabir yogibirapyarabhya. Sa eva yadrigvishaya svayam stita. Sa eva yadrigvishaya svayam stita. Kim vanyate dishtamato braja kosam. Kim vanyate dishtamato braja kosam. Braja kasam. Yat padapam surjau janma krishato. Dritatmabir yogibirapyarabhya. Sa eva yadrigvishaya svayam stita.
svayam stita.
Kim vanyate dishtamato brajo kasam.
Vivayate Kishtamato Rajokasam.
Yatpadapam subahujama kricha.
Yatpadapam subhahujanma krishrato.
Vitatmavi yogi virapiyalavyam.
Dritatmabi yogi virapyalavya.
Saeva yadri visaya svam stitam.
Saeva yadrik vishaya svayam stita.
Kim vanyate distamato brajaukasham.
Kim vanyate dishtamato brajokasam.
Yatpadapam Subhahujanma Krishnato
Yatpadapam subhahujanma krishrato.
Dittamabhirogi Pirapyanabhyam
Nitatmabi yogi virapyalavya.
Saeva Jadrivisha Swayam Stitam
Saeva yadrik vishaya svayam stita.
Kim Vanyate Tishtamato Rajokasam
Kim vanyate dishtamato brajokasam.
Yatpadapam subhahujanma kritato.
Yatpadapam subhahujanma krishrato.
Kritatmabir yogi virapyalavya.
Ritatmabi yogi virapyalavya.
Saeva yadrik vishaya svayam stita.
Saeva yadrik vishaya svayam stita.
Kim vanyate distamato brajokasam.
Kim vanyate dishtamato brajokasam. Yat
Yat
whose
whose
padapam su,
Padamam
dust of the lotus feet,
Dust of the lotus feet
bhaujanma,
Bhaujanma
in many births,
in many births
kritshrata,
Kritrata
from undergoing severe austerities and penances,
undergoing severe austerities and penances
as a way of practicing yoga, meditation, and so on.
as a way of practicing yoga, meditation, and so on.
Dritatmabi,
Tritadavi,
by persons able to control the mind.
a person is able to control the mind.
Yogi
Yogi
by such yogis,
as such yogis
Jnana yogi, Raja yogi, Dhyana yogi, etc.
Yana yogi, Raja yogis, Jnana yogis, etc.
Api,
Api,
indeed,
indeed,
Alabhya
Alabhya
cannot be achieved.
cannot be achieved.
Sa,
Sa,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Eva,
Eva,
indeed,
Indeed,
Yadrik Vishaya
Yadrik Vishaya
has become the object of direct vision face to face.
has become the object of direct vision face to face.
Swayam,
Swayam,
personally.
Personally,
Stita,
Stita,
present in
Present.
front of them.
present in front of them.
Kim,
Kim,
what?
what
Vanyate
Varnyate
can be described.
can be described.
Dishtam,
Ishtam,
about the fortune.
about fortune.
Ata,
Ata,
therefore.
therefore.
Braja Okasam,
Raja Okasam,
of the inhabitants of Brajbhumi, Vrindavan.
of the inhabitants of Rajabhumi, Vrindavan.
Translation. Yogis may undergo severe austerities and penances for many births by practicing yama, niyama, asana, and pranayama, none of which are easily performed. Yet, in due course of time, when these yogis attain the perfection of controlling the mind, they will still be unable to taste even a particle of dust from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What then can we describe about the great fortune of the inhabitants of Brajbhumi, Vrindavan, with whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally lived and who saw the Lord face to face? Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, we can simply imagine the great fortune of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. It is impossible to describe how after many bursts of pious activities, they have become so fortunate. Okay, I can read again. Yat padapam subaujanma klishatoda dritatmabi yogi bilabhyalabhya sa eva yat vigrishaya svayam stita kim valnyate dishtamato brajo kasam. Yogis may undergo severe austerities and penancies for many births by practicing yama, niyama, asana and pranayama, none of which are easily performed. Yet, in due course of time, when these yogis attain the perfection of controlling the mind, they will still be unable to taste even a particle of dust from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What then can we describe of the great fortune of the inhabitants of Braj Bhumi, Vrindavan, with whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally lived and who saw the Lord face to face? Oh yeah, Krita Punya Punja. Okay. Omagyantinidandasya Gyalangalashagaya Chakshu Rudmi Vitamina Tasmai Shri Gulavinama Chaitanya Mahavistam Statitanina Swayam Rupa Tadadisva Padatika Hare Krishna Jai. So we can go back to the verse first to analyze a little what is being said to keep in the right track. Yogis may undergo severe austerities and penancies for many births by practicing yama, niyama, asana and pranayama, none of which are easily performed. Okay, so we hear about yoga a lot today, but this is not, we're not speaking about the same thing. Unfortunately today it's 99% just a big business. And nothing to do with goal of yoga, which is to meditate in love on the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is within the heart, accompanying the spirit soul. This is the goal of yoga, and it is very clearly defined and explained, especially by Patanjali in his Yoga Sutras, as a very delineated practice. Both the practice and the goal are very clear about yoga. And if there is, as it is said here, severe austerities and penancies, first severe austerities and penancies, we are practicing Bhakti Yoga, so in one sense we can say yes, we're also practicing severe austerities and penancies. In Kali Yuga, the practice of yoga or Bhakti Yoga recommended entails also severe austerities and penancies, which are for conditioned souls in this age, which are abstaining from intoxication, from illicit sex, from gambling, and from eating meat, fish or eggs. This is severe austerity in Kali Yuga. And let's say it is austerities, and let's put penances. Penance means to not only refrain from common sinful activities of today's, horrible activities, but also to empty the black part and to pour into the bright side, which is chanting 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra Hare Krishna, with trying hard to avoid the offenses to the holy name. So this is yoga, and if we don't, just like here it is said, for many births by practicing yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, none of which are easily performed. So same for us in Kali Yuga. If we don't perform austerities, as we said, for regulative principles, and if we don't practice penances, which is offering back our heart to Krishna, trying by chanting 16 rounds, then it's not serious bhakti. It doesn't produce the fruits. There's no bhakti, actually, because bhakti starts with Brahma Bhuta Prasanatmana Sochati Nakanchati. Sama Sarve Bhuteshu Mad Bhakti Labate Param, Mad Bhakti Labate Param. After being purified from sinful activities and aspiring for yoga, for connecting through surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, then we start being reinstated in our constitutional position of loving servant of Krishna. This is Bhakti Yoga. So it's not easily performed yoga, but of course here Prabhupada, the verse speaks about not the Bhakti yogis. It speaks about that's the words forward. Jnana yogis, Raja yogis, Dhyana yogis, etc. Yes. This type of yoga, when it is performed in a serious way, then yes, it can bring results, spiritual results, definitely. Otherwise, what is the result of performing some exercise, gymnastic, and some good breathing, to freeze the lungs, and thinking of nothing, or try to forget about the problems of life? What's the result? Well, the Dharma Projita Keitovotra Nivatsaranam Satam, because there is no intention of surrendering to God. Then there is intention of enjoying sense gratification. That's all. So, what is the result of all these endeavors? Chewing the truth. Punak Punachavita Chavarana, Matirna Krishna Patovas Satova, Mito Bipadyeta Griya Vratanam, Adanta Gubir Vishatam, Tamishra, Punak Punachavita Chavarana, Boga Tyaga. Or we try to enjoy Boga, material sense gratification, and after a while we experience or realize that it's not easy, it's not so good, doesn't hard work, and the result is not what we expected, and it is temporary anyway. So after this, trying to enjoy this material world, material life, Tyaga, I renounce, and thus this will be my next sense gratification, my next self-centered pleasure. I don't want to suffer, that's all. So I stop acting and become like dead or impersonal or void, like that. And after a while, because the soul is active, we are not the body, we are not matter, we are not stones, we are the living soul inside the body, in the heart. Then, if the soul stop acting in the wrong way, but doesn't keep moving towards a real goal, spiritual goal, then it gets bored, and the desire to act comes back again, and again. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mitya. I reject Jagat, I reject this material world, and I try to remain in non-action, non-thinking, etc. for a few years, or a few days, or a few seconds, and then again back to material boga, sense gratification. So this is, unfortunately, this is what is commonly practiced in general, with exceptions, today under the name of yoga. No severe austerities, still engaging in sinful activities, and no penance, no surrendering to God, and for many births, not for many births, for just a few minutes or a few hours, from time to time, and by practicing yama niyama asana, it's unfortunately a bad job. It's a bad job because then people are thinking, or made thinking that yes, I am practicing yoga and I am experiencing spirituality, and this is false. Unless there is austerities and positive penances and surrendering to the mercy of the Supreme Lord of God, then just keep nourishing the materialistic ego. This is But here, still, this verse is saying that these true yogis, whose goal is to attain realization of the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord, in their heart, by getting free from everything else, in due course of time, also it is not easily performed. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says that this practice of getting rid of sense gratification, mind going everywhere, controlling the mind and the senses, without the mercy of the Supreme Lord through surrender, very difficult. So it is but yet, it is said here, in due course of time, because this is a bona fide process, Krishna recognizes it in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 12, he said, yes, between surrendering to me with love, with devotion, service, and trying to first control your mind and senses, and then meditating on the Supreme Soul, and the Soul and Supreme Soul, you can attain also the goal, but it is very difficult, which is said here, very difficult to perform. Yet, in due course of time, but we don't have much time in Kali Yuga, we have a few years, after we experience the futility and the disappointment of sense gratification after the teenage years, or a little more, and then we're gonna, because we have many bad habits, then our health will quickly, in general, deteriorate, and in between you have a few years where you try to maybe some will try to do something spiritual or not material or less materialistic, like that. And in due course of time, when these yogis attain the perfection of controlling the mind, more difficult than to control the wind. So we can understand that yoga is a very, very serious, difficult, rarely achieved goal. Controlling the mind permanently, not just for 1 minute, looking at a candle or trying to think about nothing. It's not yoga. I mean, it's pleasant for a while. You escape all your daily problems and you feel relaxed in the body, this and that. But if there is no surrender, anyway. So the perfection of concentration, then they will still, in due course of time, they will be unable to what to. They attain the perfection of controlling the mind. This is fantastic. But still unable to, what's the next step? Taste even a particle of dust from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is not described here. We're in 10th canto. We're supposed to already have known and realized that the supreme goal of life, prema pumarto mahan, is to taste the particle of dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna Balaram, or Radha Govinda Madhava, or Govinda Ki Jai. Yes. So this is immediately glorifying that, you know. The supreme pleasure is a natural, constitutional pleasure for the spirit soul that we are, is to taste, to take pleasure in serving and associating with God in his personal form. A particle of dust from the lotus feet of God. Means if there is lotus feet, immediately that means there is a form, there is a person. So our goal is to associate with God in person. And this is a supreme pleasure. Krishna is a reservoir of all pleasure. Pleasure in life, you know, even if you have a lot of advantages, so you can enjoy life. You have money, you have, you know, good health, like that. But if you have no relationship, that's very. First, it's dry, and then it becomes frustrating, sad. Maybe become angry or despair, like the existentialists, you know, French existentialists, you know, Sartre, Camus. I read from HG Prabhu in his book Hare Krishna Explosion that yes, when Srila Prabhupada, just before Prabhupada did what he did, you know, glorious service to the Guru and Parampara, Chaitanya, going to the world. They were looking for some, rejecting the so-called comfort of materialistic, wealthy society of America. And they were looking into this, you know, rejection into existentialism of Sartre. He was like one of the good book for the hippies at the beginning there. But very soon, he said, very soon, we rejected it also because it did not lead to anything. You know, life, you know, boga tyaga, no goal, not worse. So, you know, just, you know, the only solution is to contempt suicide, which he did. You know, so, this is the supreme goal, prema pumarto mahan. This is a solution that Srila Prabhupada gave. You know, you have to associate with God, and this will be supreme pleasure. Other pleasures, there may be some temporary material pleasures, some long journey of spiritual pleasure of liberation, but it's long, but it's not eternal. Aluya Krishna param param tata patantya do yushman adrita amkraya. If you think that you have attained the perfection without tasting the association of God, you are wrong. You know, it's manina. Mind, it's in your mind. Oh, I feel good, but it is not what the scriptures and the saintly yogis are explaining. No. You have to surrender in love, in service to God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, you fall down again, sooner or later. So, not able to taste even a particle of dust, the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of God. There is a verse also in Brahma Samhita speaking about that. You know, it's. Yeah, but it's interesting because this verse says that after many long time, like here, those yogis who practice, you know, Vayolata, Pimanaso, Munikpom, Garanam, Pantas to quote Ishatavat Salvam Ramayam. Long time and practicing, Vayo, controlling the air, pranayam, this and that, like that. Vayo, Atopi, Manaso, Munipun, Gabanam, so Piastiyat, Prapadasing, Avichintia, Tadveg, Ovinda, Manipurusha, Tamam, Jami. Maybe they will be able to attain just a particle of light emanating from the nails of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very far away goal. Yeah, so it's very rare or almost impossible. And in Kali Yuga, Kalo Nastyeva, it's impossible. You cannot attain God, association, the supreme pleasure of associating with the reservoir of all pleasure. You cannot attain through Nastyeva, karma. You cannot, material self-gratification, heavenly planets. You cannot attain through yoga, Nastyeva, through dhyana, philosophical speculation, what is true, what is wrong, what is eternal, what is material, what is body, what is soul. You cannot. Nastyeva through yoga. In Kali Yuga, you cannot also. So, yes, they unable to taste a particle of dust of the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Of course, Lord Chaitanya said the same thing in the process of bhakti. He said the same thing also. I cannot. No, not exactly. He said very humbly, not proudly or in illusion. Ayi nanda tanujakin kalam patitam mam bishame bhavam buddho kripaya talapalapam kaja stita duli sadarisha vichintayam duli, dust. May I become a particle of dust under your lotus feet? And he said, I don't want anything. Trinadapi, I am humble. Try to be humble. I don't want nadam. I don't want anything material, even liberation, Janmani Ishvari. But Nanda Tanuja, not some vague idea about God. No, Nanda Tanuja, the personal form of Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. In addressing, after humbly rejecting anything material or liberation, humbly and what he said, I am fallen. I have fallen in this world, and I cannot get out of it by myself, cannot attain, but it's only your mercy, kripaya, kripa. By your mercy, you may take me as a particle of dust. Okay. What then, if those great, powerful people, very patient, if they cannot, reach association with God, because there is no surrender, there is no devotional humility, there is no surrender. It's hard to surrender for everybody in the material world. It's hard to surrender, to admit to, surrender means you don't know what's going to happen. You surrender, okay, do with me whatever you like. I obey, I surrender. Or in war, when one party is defeated, he surrender, and you don't know what the other is going to do. Put him in jail forever, cut his head, or just okay, I forgive you, but you don't know. So surrender to Krishna is not exactly the same. We know that the Lord is infinitely kind, especially for the conditioned souls who wants to turn back to Him. He really, appreciates that. He knows that it is not easy, therefore He facilitates it. But surrender, there is austerity to surrender to our false ego, our false hopes, our illusions. We are stupid. Conditioned souls, we are not. We have surrendered our life to Krishna, and to the process Bhakti Yoga. So we are not anymore fools and rascals, but yes, those who don't surrender, yeah, it's you know, they are attached to their suffering. That's the problem. They think that their suffering is their pleasure. Yeah, I think that working hard for material pleasure, temporary, and this is real good goal of life. I'm very happy to work hard and try to enjoy. But this is, they get this body with all kinds of problems. They try to overcome the problems. Because in the past life they did it. I can be happy with material, with material life, with my body. And because of that, they got a body with problems, and again, punak charita, and again they go, so they think that, the cause of the suffering, the material body, this is my pleasure. So it's foolish. And why are they foolish? Because the conditioned souls, they are rascals. Yes, somebody has to be a rascal. Either it is God who who is the cause of all causes. Therefore, some or other, he must be the cause of the suffering in material world, or it is the jiva, the conditioned souls, who are creating their own sufferings by their free will, bad use. So, if you think those who karmic, conditioned souls, who ascribe the responsibility to God, yes, God is, I don't want this rascal God who put me in suffering, and I'm going to beat him. Asura, they want to destroy God and prove that, yes, life is, this world is a good place, it's my place, belongs to nobody, and this is rascal, yes. And criticizing God, criticizing the devotees of God, and this is bonjour Samuel, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I am speaking on the beautiful conte of Srimad Bhagavatam. Samuel is a storyteller. Hein? Storyteller? You speaking? Tu parles en anglais?
Yes, no.
Storyteller, yeah. So he's traveling all over the world since years and years with his bag full of stories. And like that, stories carry him here and there, according to. So stories are brought him here in lotus feet of the God. Because here we are trying to practice Bhakti Yoga, and this is a process to associate with God, as we say, very humbly, and expecting not our strength, but the mercy of God, and then praying, may I become a particle of dust under your lotus feet. So then the end of the verse. What then can we describe if those powerful yogis, they cannot associate with God without surrendering to Him? What then can we describe about the great fortune of the inhabitants of Brajbhumi Vrindavan, with whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally lived and who saw the Lord face to face? Yeah. In one sense, it is interesting, this verse, when you arrive, just because, yes, it is a story, Srimad Bhagavatam, many stories. If you read 10 books, 12 books of Srimad Bhagavatam, you will have, unlimited stories.
Brajbhumi is in Vrindavan?
Brajbhumi means Vrindavan, Bhumi on earth. Bhumi means earth.
Brajbhumi, Vrindavan, same.
Same, yes. Vrindavan is both in the sky, in the transcendental world, that's the planet of God, of Krishna, and Vrindavan is also on earth. Only, so one is Vrindavan, The other one is Vrindavan, Bhumi.
And sometimes people say the land of Vraj.
The land of?
Vraj?
Yes.
Same thing.
Yes, the same, yes. Vrindavan, Braj, yes. So, yes, okay. So, great fortune, the inhabitants of Braj Bhumi, means those who were there 5,000 years ago on this earth in Vrindavan, associating with Krishna, Yada Yada Idalmasya, Glani Bhavati Bharata. God comes, God can go everywhere. He is not limited. He can travel everywhere. Almost you can do that also. Not completely, you cannot travel everywhere. There is, you need visa, and there is war here, and you travel according to invitations. Yes, but God, he travels, he doesn't need to be invited, and he comes when he wants. Just like in a prison, you cannot go in a prison, oh, I'm gonna tell my nice story to these prisoners, poor people, or, well, they deserve it, but still we want to, help them. But you cannot go in the prison, you need some passport, But the president, he can go in the prison, no problem. Immediately opens the door, yes, please come and say, do whatever you like, speak, whatever. So God is the same. He can go everywhere, of course, in the spiritual world, in His kingdom, and this gives a great pleasure to all the liberated souls who are eternally living in association with Him, in loving service. But He can also go in the prison house of this material world, which is closed. You cannot take birth as you like, where you like. You cannot go out of life when you like by death, and you cannot avoid the punishment of disease and old age. So it's a prison, and of course there is a way to get free, and this is why Krishna, he comes to this world and he tells us stories about the transcendental world, the eternal world of freedom and pure, unmotivated service. So Krishna comes 5,000 years ago, before he sent many devotees. He told them, oh my dear devotees from the material world, demigods, in charge of the, there's a spirit behind the material mechanism of the world. There is spirit, there is life behind heat, rain, vegetation, and mind, all these material elements, bhumi, rapo, nalo, vayu, earth, water, heat, mind, there is spirit behind. And these are the demigods. They are entrusted with controlling, managing the material magics, material opulences of this world. So when Krishna came 5,000 years ago, he came with his eternal associates from Vrindavan, from the transcendental world. Srimati Radharani and Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. They always, just like when the president he goes to the prison, he comes not alone. There is also the minister of this, and his wife, and his. So, okay. Krishna came with his eternal associate, some of them, and also he said to the those who were working for him inside the prisons, the demigods working for him, taking charge of the material elements, he told them, oh, you have to take birth also on earth. I'm going to come to the prison, and I'm going to do some welfare work. I'm going to do good to the prisoners. So you have to come and help me. So, okay, many devotees of the Lord and demigods, they took birth 5,000 years ago on this earth and preparing the advent of the Lord of God. And then when Krishna was in Vrindavan, Vrindavan on earth, south of New Delhi, then there was these eternal associates, and there was also the almost pure devotees living still in the material world, waiting to finally be free from the prison and go back to God for eternal life and bliss, happiness. So they were there, and here the verse speaks of them. Well, how can we describe the great fortune of the inhabitants of Brajabhumi, Vrindavan? God himself was living amongst them, and they could see him face to face. Krishna gave them the transcendental vision to see. Actually, everybody could see Krishna, not even those who did not serve him, devotees, love him, even demons, were wanted to kill him. They could see him, but they did not see him as the supreme pleasure of life, as the devotees. So they saw the Lord face to face, and then whatever we want to see beautiful, or to have pleasurable, or to hear very nice, Krishna is the origin. Absolute truth is Janmadhyasya Syayata and Vayadita Shasa, Abhikya Swarat. The origin, an intelligent person asks, where from is coming what I want, or what I like, or what I am. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. And Srimad Bhagavatam, this book of stories, tells us, yes, everything originally, Janma means the birth of everything, come from he who is conscious, Swarat, Abhidya, and Swarat is independent. He has no birth himself, he is a birth of everything else, the cause of all causes, and he has no origin. This is a goal where we can find the origin of all pleasures. It's important, otherwise we may grab some pleasures, but if they are not attached to their origin, then it disappears. When we get the pleasure, it disappears, or soon, or it's not complete. But if it is linked with the source of pleasure, this is the meaning of Krishna. Krish means attractive, and Na means pleasure, Ananda. Ananda, no end, not temporary pleasure. So yes, they were associating with God, the supreme source of pleasure in his personal form. They could saw him face to face. Why not? With our eyes, we see. How is it? Our eyes are seeing? No. Our ear, do they hear? No. It's just dead matter. So when somebody dies, it's still the ear are there, the eye are there. They don't see, they don't hear. So what's the difference? Difference is a living body. There is a soul inside. He is the one who is living, yes, and with hearing and seeing. And where does comes the original power of seeing or hearing? This power comes from the original supreme reality, the absolute truth, in his form. The same, God as a form is a person, the one who is unlimited, and he has a form. This is contradictory to my little brain, yes, but you have a little brain, and God is not comprised within a little brain. And if He give us another type of brain, transcendental understanding, then, oh, yeah, we can understand. No, Krishna is a person, Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin, absolute truth. He has a form, and he has unlimited powers, energies, simultaneously, which are spread, everywhere, omnipresent. Maya Satanidam Savam Jagatayaktamurtina, he said in Bhagavad Gita, I am spread all over the world through my energies, but I am beyond also in my personal form. No difference between the sun and the sunlight. Still, there is difference. Sunlight is coming from the sun, not the other way. So, yes, great fortune. We can simply imagine, says Sri Prabhupada, the great fortune of the inhabitants of Vrindavan 5,000 years ago. They could see God face to face, be associated with the supreme reservoir, origin of all pleasures. And indeed, they were experiencing, Bhagavatam explain all these stories, how devotees were experiencing a supreme pleasure. It is impossible to describe how, after many, many births of pious activities, they have become so fortunate. This is a well-known verse, the previous verse, Krita Punya Punja. Prabhupada spoke often of that. Krita Punya Sakam Vijaru, Krita Punya Punja. Those who have accumulated the result, life after life, of many, many pious activities. Yes, Hare Krishna. You can go and perform more and more pious activities. Yes, it's time to stop. So yes, it is not given in one sense to everyone to associate with the Lord. It is said that for that you have to do pious activities for many, many lives, one after the other. Because through pious activities you will be cleansed from all the impious activities that we have done in millions of births. And this cleaning is necessary before presenting oneself or associating. So after many life of pious activities, austerities and welfare activities and non-violence and yoga and this and that, all kinds of purificatory activities, then Bhaunam Janma Namante, Bhaunam Janma, after many, many births, finally, yes, we will be able, being not so much impure, to surrender to God. Yes, I am, you are great, I am small, therefore I need some help, and I surrender to you. So, and then our Lord, our Father, is very kind. He comes to us immediately in this dangerous world of birth and death and illusory temporary pleasures, and he takes us back home to the real home and associate with him. Yes, so we have to be pious. We have to not be impious. All these sinful activities, illicit sex and violence, eating meat and gambling and intoxication. It's impious. It's nothing belongs to us. Therefore, we should take only what is needed for us and not encroach on others. Not be violent toward nature, toward trees, toward animals, toward human beings, toward our own body, our own mind, and toward our own soul, and toward the Supreme Soul within our heart. This is pious activities, And there's many ways, but ultimately the real pious activity which solves all problems is to ask for the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then immediately, very quickly, Kalmani Dati Kintucha Bhakti Bhajan, Govinda Madi Purusham, Tamaham Bhajami. Very quickly, all of a sudden, everything goes away. All our karma, all the consequence of our impious activities. If we have the good look of God, then very quickly we don't need to many births. Just immediately we can be cleansed of the responsibility of our own past activities, and we can have access to the association with God in person through the process of bhakti yoga, devotional service, chanting Hare Krishna. Jai Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. You remember, Samuel? Ki Jai. Ki Jai. So, supreme victory, Jai. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, the supreme storybook, according to great sages and spiritualists, liberated souls, it's a supreme storybook. Yes, of course we are. Okay. So, Ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, and Ki Jai to all of you, all of us, to try to hear this purifying story of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jai. Ok, have a good day, bonne journée. Tu vas rester la journée?
Quelques jours.
Quelques jours. Ah, on va avoir